Hi everyone, today I'm going to talk about the medieval religious art and specifically how artists in Middle Ages used a wide range of materials to create well-known religious scenes. This presentation is basically a visual version of an essay that I have made during one of our weekly reflections, and it focuses on the evolution of materials that they used and some of the most popular scenes they created. In this first section, I'm introducing the main idea behind my project. When most people think of medieval art, they imagine illuminated manuscripts or church frescoes, but medieval artists use way more materials than that. They created religious imagery using plaques, tiles, tapestry, metalwork, carved ivory, and even gold decorated objects. I'm looking at how these materials changed over time and how the same scenes were adapted across different formats. This helps show how creative and devotional the medieval period actually was. In the early Middle Ages, most religious art came from manuscript culture. Monks were basically the artists of the time, and they painted small, detailed images in books using pigments mixed with egg tempera. These books weren't just for reading, they were treated like sacred objects. Over time, art started moving outside monasteries, and ivory carving became really popular. Ivory plaques often showed the Nativity or the crucifixion and were attached to book covers. Since ivory is smooth and durable, artists would carve super intricate details, turning regular objects into tiny religious sculptures. By the High Middle Ages, the range of materials expanded a lot. Artists started using ceramic tiles to decorate chapels and homes with repeating biblical scenes, almost like wallpaper, but with religious meaning. Goldsmiths and metalworkers were also creating things like chalices and crosses decorated with enamel and gemstones, and tapestries became huge, literally. They were giant cloth panels that covered walls and told religious stories in a really immersive way. What makes this period interesting is that the same religious themes changed, but depending on the material was used. For example, gold symbolized holiness, ivory suggested purity, and tapestries added movement and warmth. Even though the materials changed, certain religious scenes stayed consistently popular across all formats. The crucifixion is one of the clearest examples. It appeared everywhere, from tiny ivory to large tapestries. The Nativity and the adoration of the Magi were also really common, mostly because they highlighted Christ's humanity and divinity. And one of the most central themes was the Virgin and Child. Mary is shown in all kinds of ways, sitting on a throne, holding baby Jesus, nursing him, or even surrounded by angels. Even when artists used tough materials like metal or ceramic tiles, these scenes were instantly recognizable. To wrap everything up, the medieval religious art isn't just important because of what it shows. It's important because of how many different ways these stories were created. Artists used everything from everyday clay to precious gold, which meant that religious imagery reached people in all parts of medieval society. This variety also shaped a visual language that's still recognizable today. The way we picture scenes like the Nativity or the Crucifixion is influenced by the creative choices medieval artists made hundreds of years ago.